I like the idea of the United States not being the, having a leadership role. I like, and as in not being the one that's directing what the UN does. No matter what happens, for the UN to be effective, it is still going to rely on the United States military.
Yes.
There's no question about that. So, do we move to a situation where the UN will decide, oh, we want to go and have troops here and have troops there, and the U.S. will decide maybe we do want to go, maybe we don't want to go? I think that's fine. That doesn't say anything about Article 5. If there's an attack on a NATO country, we're still obligated to defend them. And I think that's okay. But I think that the idea that the United States should have the sovereignty to decide when the U.S. is going to actually use military force and not be, told what they have to do by other countries. I think that's a good thing for the United States. And it doesn't change the fact that the U.S. is still going to spend probably 3 to 4% of our GDP on the military. The U.S. will still make all kinds of weapons and will still sell them to the rest of, allied countries or NATO countries. There will still be a military-industrial complex in the United States. We're not going to just get rid of all these companies. Raytheon's not going to go out of business because they'll still make all those weapons. The United States will still have access to that. And so I don't think that it would be as much of a catastrophe as people on the left or people in the Democrat Party are going to make it out to be.
They can't give you a reason. Like, honestly, listen, Democrats and liberals, there's probably only the smallest amount who could engage in the sophistry required to explain why we should maintain NATO at current pace.
Yeah.
Global order, the liberal economic order, expansionist policies, one world government, whatever, I guess.
Yeah.
That's an ideological goal. I mean, honestly, if I ask somebody, why should we be in NATO? And this, like a Krasenstein said, well, we want dominion over the earth. I'd be like, oh, okay. Well, right, I get that. I disagree. I don't think we should do that. Right. So, I oppose that.
It's okay when we do it, Tim.
No, I know. It's funny because I was talking to a liberal friend of mine recently, and they were saying, like, yeah, well, Russia just does whatever they want. They take whatever they want. They invade whoever they want. And I was like, you're talking about the United States? Like, you're talking about us? Like, that's been my existence in this country. There's been a war every presidency. Trump was the first president not to start one, but he still had several under his belt. Granted, they were given to him. But and he was doing tremendous to stop those wars. It's funny that Trump's attitude now is like, why are we involved in these wars? It's wasting our time and money. And the Democrats are losing their minds.
Yeah, they're like, don't you dare stop the wars. It's like, what? You guys were the ones 20 years ago out protesting George W. Bush and no more wars and everything. But now.
Yeah, but to be fair, when they were protesting George W. Bush, this was my wake-up call moment when I'm a teenager. Punk rock music. Remember, what was it? The System of a Down had that song where the music video was all Iraq war protest stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What song was it? Do you remember?
It wasn't Chop Suey.
No. It was a big one, though. And I was like, man, like, why are we involved in this war? And so I'm 16. I'm out marching. I'm pissed off. I'm like, what is going on? I'm all angry. And then when Obama came around, he was like, vote for me, and I will expand our Middle Eastern presence. And everybody was like, no, he doesn't mean it. He's going to get our troops out of Iraq. And I was like, isn't he saying he's going to bolster our troops in Afghanistan? And they were like, no, listen, trust me, dude. How old was I? Like 20? They were like, it's going to be different with him. He's not some old white guy. He's like, that's what the narrative was. Yeah. They were like, he's not supposed to be here. He's like some guy from Chicago who got lucky. You got to vote for him. And I was like, all right. Okay, well, let's give it a shot, And then within like a few weeks, he bombed a Pakistani village of women and children, or he authorized a drone strike that bombed. And I was like, hey, wait a minute. I went back to all of these anti-war people I knew, and I said, guys, help. Obama's bombing people. And they went, what? Obama's bombing people. We got to protest. Not protest what? Obama, he's bombing people. And they were like,
it's fine.
We don't care about that anymore. We have moved on.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, I ain't voting ever again.
Well, and the only thing I do see them still pushing, so like earlier today, Piers Morgan had a bunch of people on, Andrew was on there, but other people were on there trying to defend Ukraine. And what they did is something that is a very clear pattern. I have a piece on my Substack I wrote about this called Patterns in Wartime Propaganda. You can go back to before World War I and see this same narrative every time of we got to fight him over there so we don't have to fight him over here. And they'll expand. It's this expansionist, like scaremongering of he's going to take the Balkans, right? And they've done this every single time for over 100 years. It's like, how many times are we going to fall for this?
Real quick. He's going to take the Balkans?
Well, that's what.
Why should I care?
Well, I don't know.
Like, is it going to make my eggs more expensive?
I think the Balkans will not do anything
is
to
there
you.
Balkanese cheese that I'm going to be left out of or something? Or what's going to happen?
I got to visit the
Communism,
Balkans.
communism.
Not
I don't
much
know.
going
Like,
on.
they don't even.
Well, I don't like communism.
They don't even really say.
So I'm listening.
They don't even really say communism
No.
anymore. But it's just
I got to be
like,
honest. If they said communism, I'd be more inclined to agree with them.
You'd be like, tell me more.
Yeah, if they were like, Putin is a communist, then I'd be like, really? Prove it. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.